Today on this Warhammer 40K game summary, we have the new World Eaters Demonkin detachment versus the new look Necron Awakened Dynasty. So if you're wondering how these two armies match up against each other, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to take this 3-hour game. We're going to condense it down into about 25 minutes, give you what worked, what didn't work, and most of all, what we learned. And if you're wondering how good this new World Eaters Demonkin detachment is, you're definitely going to want to stick around because that strat is nuts. And I'm definitely going to highlight some really cool plays that you can do with that strat as of right now where it stands, and highlight some really good things there. So even if you're not a Necron player, if you play T-Suns, obviously you play World Eaters, you play Marines, still think you're going to get a lot of value out of this video today. So let's get into it. So before I flip over to the actual game and we get things going, playing against my really good buddy Ryan today, and he is actually based up in Seattle, so I don't get to play him as often. He is primarily a guard player and has done really well at some tournaments up north this past year, and he's recently switched over to World Eaters in the last couple months and is trying out this Demonkin detachment. So take this game with a grain of salt. He was practicing a lot of things, moving a lot of things around, and it was just a great game through and through. I'm going to go ahead and link the list down below via Pastebin, so if you want to look at the list, go ahead and check those out. We are playing Take and Hold, Search and Destroy today, as you can see, and we have Hidden Supply. So we have one extra objective marker in the center of the battlefield for extra scoring, which is awesome. So I played 3 games this past weekend. We had a lot of buddies in town on the team, which was great. And I would not be here if it wasn't also for Ryan. He was the big reason why I got back into 40K and 10th edition, because we played back in 3rd edition. So it's just a very sentimental game. It was great. So definitely also drinks were being had around this time as well. So also just bear that in mind. But yeah, let's flip over to the game, shall we? So we have a 92-69 to the Necrons, and we, as you can see here, we are not running the Warrior Brick. We are retiring it for right now. I'm not saying it's not good, because it is very good. I forgot I have to put up my my little pointer for you guys, so we can highlight all the things here, right? So we have the Silent King. We have 2 DDAs. We have a block of Race with the Crypto Thralls. And then we are running the Hexmark, actually, with not the Veil, but the +1 to hit enhancement. So anything within 6 inches of this guy is going to get +1 to hit. So the main synergy there is, especially against Death Guard, it gives you the flexibility to go ignore mods and still +1 to hit, so the king can still hit on 2s and you get the rerolls. And then it also makes the DDAs extremely efficient because now it gives them the flexibility to move and also still hit on 2s ideally, and rerolling 1s to hit and rerolling 1s to wound. It's very, very good. And of course, you're trying to keep a CP in your back pocket if you need to reroll one of the shots on the DDAs, because we've all rolled that 1. But hey, you could still roll a 1. So and then as far as on the World Eater side, we have a couple units of Flesh Hounds here for the up-down, 2 units of Chaos Spawn. We have a unit of 6 Exalted 8-bound, Bloodthirster, a couple unit of Jackals. He is running a unit of Blood Crushers, unit of 6 with the Lord in reserve, or I should say Deep Strike, and then he has 2 units of 10 Demonkin as well, along with 2 Wardog Brigands for some extra Melta anti-tank. All right, so we're playing Take and Hold. The World Eaters end up getting first turn, and he rips Area Denial and Sabotage. Not a bad pull at all. So he's mainly just trying to get within 6 inches of the center here. So we're going to fast forward here, and we're going to see that play out. So we're going to fast forward his turn here. And look at this guy, man. I mean, just a great head of hair, man. I mean, just a great dude. So we're going to finish up his turn here. He's calculating some things out. That's me measuring some stuff. Okay, so this is the perfect spot. So we have top of 1, Chaos Spawn, going to go in for Area Denial. Solid play. Everything else is going to stage up. More or less talking about the deployment here. We have, as far as for me, turn 1, we're looking for the DDA here to threaten this firing line. To essentially, you can move 10 and then cover this lane essentially right here. So he does have to respect it where, I'll take that all day if he's going to put the Exalted 8-pound in there and swinging the DDA over to potentially pick them up, because the perfect profile against them, flat 4 damage, is going to kill him outright. And he doesn't want to potentially lose like half of his unit on turn 1 by not doing anything. So this is a good placement here. You're thinking about Scorpek Lord moving up, staging here. We have Flayed Ones here covering the wall. Race, it gives them the flexibility, right, to go this way or swing this way. And then you're also maximizing your synergistic pieces, right? So we have the king obviously in the center. So it gives you the flexibility to swing DDAs on here to cover this firing line. Or we can move like a DDA over this way to cover this firing line. So you really have like the whole table covered on this, which is really nice. So he's going to move up here. He's going to sabotage with the dogs, and he's going to pass it over to me. So we get Cull the Horde, which we can't do in the first turn. We get no prisoners, and we get secure no man's land. So pretty easy turn for me as far as headspace. I know really the only thing realistically I can kill this turn is the spawn, and then we are going to move the Scorpek Lord up on the objective here, and we're going to have Race up on the objective here to get our easy secure no man's land. So you're going to essentially, I'm going to fast forward here, and we are going to see that play out. Okay, so this is essentially turn 1 here. So we're moving this, actually, the Scorpek Lord up just to cast some threat projection on this objective right here. I did make a slight error on this turn, is where I should have actually moved up the Flayed Ones just to deny this primary on turn 1. Probably would have been a better play, I think. I was, for some reason, thinking the Flesh Hounds were OC2, and it would have required me to get a lot more Flayed Ones on the objective, but they're only OC1. So kind of a slight learning opportunity for me there with this list. But overall, we're moving the DDAs over here, mainly to kill the spawn, but also letting him know, like, hey, if you want to come over here and charge, the king, or you want to charge one of these DDAs, you're basically going to lose all of this next turn, because essentially these things are standing still, and you're going to get clapped by, Scorpex I have in strategic reserve, Race, everything else. The counterpunch is going to be super painful. This list plays really well more of the center of the board, I think, rather than your natural expansion, which is interesting because you're really trying to maximize the value of the king and the DDAs, and the best way to do that is playing a little bit more strong in the center. So we are going to clean up the spawn, and we are going to pass it over to him. Now, I like to preface in this turn, this is the first time he's been playing this attachment, and there was a lot of like kind of taking things back, and this is a learning game. This may be a good thing to highlight in a practice game, like with your buddies, is like, dude, just like let them, you want them to have like you don't want to have like the best game, but it's one of those things where they're trying to learn, and just kind of talking things out and doing different things. That's how we're all going to get better. So as I scroll through these pictures here, you're going to see these units kind of drop down, change around. So let me just fast forward here, and I think this is more or less what was settled on in the game. So he essentially turned 2. I didn't put him in the best spot, mainly because I didn't really give him a lot of good options. I stayed out of threat range of really the Exalted 8-bound. He could swing the Bloodthirster over this way, which isn't like super attractive. He has these 2 War Dogs here that can, shoot the Scorpek Lord. And then he does have the Blood Crushers here that are coming in to essentially get an 8. They get a +1 to charge, I think, because of the Lord, and then they get an innate reroll. So it's an 8-inch charge on a reroll, which is pretty reliable. I think it's like 60% chance, something like that. And then the biggest thing with the Blood Crushers that I want to highlight is I've played 2 games against Demonkin right now, and personally, I'm a little underwhelmed by the Blood Crushers, but I will say I think they are an auto-include in the Demonkin detachment right now, mainly because of the Charge Mortals is so strong with synergizing with the Demonkin detachment and that specific strat to spawn the Bloodletters. And I'm going to highlight this here. in a second. So mainly the plan is he's going to stage up these Exalted 8-bound. We have these two firing over this way. Scarbrand's going to, or Bloodthirster's going to dual charge here. And then this unit is going to try to connect with these units right here. So threat overload situation, he's like, all right, like, let's see what we can do here, try to really push you back and really just still try to dominate on primary, because he is going to get a 5 or 10 on primary this turn. He has containment and extend battle lines. So just highlighting the secondaries really quick, he's going to contain over here. He's going to contain over here because it's search and destroy. And then extend battle lines he already has because he controls this objective and this objective. Okay, so pretty easy turn as far as secondaries. He got good synergistic pulls, I would say, more or less throughout the game. So that was definitely good to see on his side. So going in here, so he's going to make the charge. This one, War Dog actually bangs a 9-inch charge, which is pretty hilarious. The Bloodletters, just to point out, they don't actually make the charge. He fails the 8. But I do want to highlight this in a practice game. I was like, dude, you were trying to play this out. I'd say more times than not, this is probably going to happen. Like, why don't we just practice like you just made the charge? Like, let's just say you get the 8 and just move him in. Because that was like the fun. Like, you wanted to try this out. I'm like, dude, just freaking put him in there. So move the Demonkin in. He pops the Scorpek Lord off the mortal wounds, okay? Now, this is a really good thing to highlight, the main thing I want to highlight in the game. So I originally thought the strat was even worse than I originally thought. For some reason, mentally, I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, like he can spawn them within 1 inch of where the model died and stay outside of 9 of enemy models. But no, it's like they just have to stay outside of the 1 inch. So I had it backwards. So originally what I had planned was like, okay, like if he wants to spawn the Demonkin here, he can. But I'll rapid ingress these Scorpeks over this way, so that way I stay outside of his charge range, and then next turn I can still use these as a great resource to come over here, kill the Demonkin in shooting, and then this unit on the charge should clean up most of this Bloodletter unit. But that is definitely not the case, because they can essentially, he could technically spawn the Demonkin 9 inches. So yeah, let me highlight this. So the Scorpek Lord dies here. Essentially, he can spawn that freaking unit anywhere right here, visually speaking, okay? Within 9 inches of this bubble. So realistically, because of that, we measured it out. He actually let me switch this around because I had the rules backwards. So I ended up actually ingressing my Scorpek unit over here. This is like a big thing I want to highlight in the game, and this is why you guys watch these reports, is these main little technical things going on in the game, so you guys can learn. And so he let me take that back, and he was debating on, okay, if I spawn the Demonkin here, I'm going to need, I think he needed like a 10-inch charge or something on a roll to harass the Ophidians. But I was telling him, I was like, this is a big maybe, and at the same time, like, you could charge in, and you're still not going to take that point because I have 2 DDAs and a hex mark on here, which is 11 OC. So conveniently, I would out OC his 10 Bloodletters, even if they all got on the objective. So he ended up not using the strat, and he thought about also using it. He felt like there was more value actually using it over here, which I think probably smart to create a move block, which you'll see. So let's see how this unfolded here. So he's going to pick up the Scorpek Lord. Going into, let's see here, making sure it's like the end. This is basically the end of the turn. Okay, so he kills the flayed ones. I end up not rezzing this Scorpek Lord over here because I want to spend the points to res this Scorpek Lord over here, but he ends up not killing the Scorpek Lord with the Film of Pain, so he ends up living, which was pretty massive. So going into my turn, the biggest thing is that I know that I need to get rid of these Bloodletters, okay? Now, the other thing to keep in mind with this detachment is the strat can trigger off of Bloodletters as well. So sequencing here is very important, mainly because I could kill the Bloodletters, but then he can spend 1 CP and then create another move block again. So if you're not very intentional with how you're sequencing your shots, you can get in trouble really fast. So going into my turn, I'm only going to get a 5 on primary, which is fine. I kind of expect that against World Eaters. They're going to press hard early. I'm going to need to make it up on the back end of the game. So we hold our home objective, and mainly this turn, I need to have a big clapback turn and really push him back here. So the first thing that we're looking to do is we're going to do some flyover mortals with the race. That's the one nice thing about having crypto thralls and race. It's not only for Cold Horde, but also when you do the flyovers, it's 9 dice instead of 7. So 9 dice, you're going to get a 4-up, which is really nice. Is good, like good chip damage. So that's the first thing I'm looking to do here. And then mainly we're going to not move our DDAs because they're not tagged. And then we're going to try to kill the Bloodthirster and all this stuff over here. And then I'm going to swing the King over to interact with this unit over here because he is actually the perfect profile against them because he's strength 8. They're only T7. And this unit is not going to do anything to the King. So it really puts him kind of in an interesting spot here. So you're going to see that movement play out here. And as far as cards, we get Established Locus and Engage on all fronts. So not bad, but not ideal. We're going to basically Locus with the Scarabs. And we are going to engage for 3/4 because we have a Scorpec Lord here. And then we're in, we're in this quarter, and then we're in this quarter. Okay. So going into the movement phase here, so you're going to see the race play out. They kill some race, and then again, sequencing is very important. We need to save like our big stuff for the end. So essentially, the King is going to fire. He's going to use his 2 Minears to fire at the Bloodthirster, and then also his staff shots, and then the little stuff is going to go at the Bloodletters. So it gives me the flexibility. If he wants to spawn in the Bloodletters, then I'm able to use my Gauze Flare Array on the Doomsday Arcs because they're in rapid fire range to clean up that resource again. So he almost has to respect it. One really nice thing about DDAs because they're multi-purpose, which is great. So this is essentially what the movement phase looks like. And then let's go over. We did a lot of damage this turn, mainly because we have the Hex Mark here. So the +1 hit didn't really matter as much in this game. I will say just because I stood these still anyway, and so they're still hitting on 2s. I needed to move the King away to take care of this unit. I would have loved the rerolls, but I think it was still enough output to get rid of what I needed to. So you're going to see this unfold. I intentionally don't kill the Bloodthirster and use the DDA to do more damage on these War Dogs here, but it kind of whiffed, unfortunately. But it was enough to kill the Bloodthirster. I think this one was on like 6 wounds left, and this one had like 4 wounds left. And then the King charges the Blood Crushers, and that was essentially the turn there. So we did a lot of damage on the clapback. Killed the Bloodthirster. He has 2 very wounded War Dogs, and he has like, these Blood Crushers are basically dead. So now all he has the 6 Exalted 8-bound, and he's in the same problem again, where he's like, well, I could yeet these Exalted 8-bound over the DDAs. That's not super exciting. I can go over to the race, which we talk about previously on this channel, where, again, against these bricks, you're trying to limit surface area, right? So he can connect here, right? But there's nowhere for him to connect over here, other than he could attack the Scarabs, which is fine. Like, cool. But this is how you can really limit some of their output, is, again, limiting surface area on these units. And then he's tied up with the King. He can't fall back and charge. So he's in a really kind of tough spot right now because he's lost a lot of his damage. And this is where the game really just starts kind of swinging in the other direction. He does get Established Locus and Secure No Man's Land, so he is able to drop some dogs in my Flesh Hounds in my backfield, which you're going to see here for 4 points. And then he is going to get also, what does he get? He gets, he gets Established Locus and Secure No Man's Land. So Established Locus for 4. And he gets Secure for 2 because he is going to hold one of these center objectives there. Because the Exalted 8-bound had to leave. So he's going to shift up there. Maybe he actually got Secure for 5. So I might have screwed that up, Ryan. I apologize. Because you definitely had these 2 things right here. So I don't know why I put 2 on there. But he got 5. He got 5 for Secure. So Exalted are shifting up. He's going to charge in. And you're going to see that play out. Exalted, not loving fighting race. So that did not really work out the best here. And then it opens up the door for me to spawn more race. Let me see here. So the Scorpec Lord kills the Wardog here. So basically going into my turn, it's not looking good, where basically I think I have enough output to kill this, kill probably both of these. These are dead. And going into like turn 4, really all he's going to have left is like Flesh Hounds and two cultist units. I mean, this army can hit, not quite as hard as Star Shatter, but the +1 to hit with the rerolls, it's interesting because you don't have to worry about units being on objectives, so it still really has like a really nice punch to it. And Razor's still +1 to hit all the time in this attachment because of being led by the Technomancer. So going into the turn, we get a 10 on primary. This is turn 3. We get Assassination, Recover Assets. So we're basically going to kill the Lord here on Juggernaut right there, which is going to be easy. We're going to basically fire 2 DDAs, 1 DDA here, downfield, and then 1 DDA over here. And then the race are going to spawn more on the objectives here, so you're going to see that play out. And basically what happened. So these guys are basically dead. We have Scorpex moving up to deny this objective here. We have 1 Wardog left, unfortunately, on 4 wounds. And then we're basically moving the race up to pressure his home objective going into the next turn. And then the king is anchoring down this objective over here. So you're going to see on turn 4, he gets a 5 on primary because he holds his home field, which is with the Flesh Hounds. He gets Bring It Down, Cull the Horde. He cycles Cull the Horde and gets engaged on all fronts, which he can actually do this turn. So you're going to see that play out here. Excuse me. There's also, I apologize for the break, y'all. I had the flu as well, and this is like the first time I've been able to like have my voice fully back as well. So you're going to see Flesh Hounds here, Mo over here, and then he's in 4 quarters. So not bad there. And then Bring It Down and Cole are going to be 2 duds. And then going into my turn, we're going to get a 15 on primary. This is bottom of 4. And we are going to get Storm Hostile and Extend Battle Line. So, you know, we storm this objective over here. And then we get Extend Battle Lines, which we already have the objectives. And the game is pretty much straightforward at this point because just there was just nothing left. So going into turn 5, we are basically pretty much talked it out from here, mainly because we selected, you know, the race are going to come over, kill this. If I could draw here, rays are going to come over, kill this. Scorpion's going to come over, kill this. King swings out, kills these guys with indirect, and then that was pretty much the game. So, very good game. Always appreciate playing you, Ryan, and I know you're gonna get super lethal with this detachment with more reps. But yeah, hopefully this highlights a little bit better of, I mean, some of the tricks that the Demonkin can do. I really want to highlight here one thing that I think in particular, like combos that this thing can do that I think Ryan learned more or less like after the fact. So if we back up here and we take this unit, okay, so this Demonkin unit, if you stuck around this long, also appreciate you watching. So in the end, we're just going to talk about some Easter eggs here. So this unit here, right, they have Deep Strike, which is great. One really nasty thing that you can do, and you really have to watch out for with this unit, is a lot of times, especially on Search and Destroy, you have the flexibility potentially to deploy this unit right here, okay? So if we're looking at like my like movement turn 1 here, so if we really back up and things we're looking for. Okay, so like hypothetically, let's say that Ryan switched, like let's say he had the Bloodthirster in reserve or Deep Strike instead of the Bloodthirster. Let's just say the Blood Crusher right here, okay? This is totally a play that they could do. So the Lord allows them to go through walls. So one thing that's just like crazy about this unit, you move them up, they have threat projection to essentially even like tag the Scarabs or even like a Hexmark turn 1, right? They move through walls, move through here, connect here. They're going to do probably, because they roll 1 dice, and on a 4-up, they do D3 mortals. So maybe he doesn't go after the Scarab because they're 12 wounds, but he could definitely maybe tag the Hexmark because it's like basically a guaranteed kill. He kills the Hexmark in the charge phase. Because the charge phase and fight phases, they are separate phases. So what can happen is they could pop the Hexmark, triggers the strat because they have 1 CP. He spawns the Demonkin 9 inches away from anywhere where they died. So he could literally turn 1, put Blood Crushers here, 1 CP, have the Bloodletters here, and they are still eligible to charge. So he could kill his Hexmark, bring the Bloodletters in, and then charge these Ophidians, wipe the resource. I don't have any heroic intervene threat over here. And he takes my home field and a unit, and he's got me like jailed in here turn 1. Actually crazy. So tough to say if they're going to change that strat. I don't know. I don't know which ones were lethal intent or that strat. Tough to say. I'm going to need more testing, but it is really, really good. So definitely something you have to watch out for with that. I think the biggest thing to prevent it is just like really watching your little squishy pieces on the line, because good players are really going to expose that and want to utilize that strat turn 1 and just catch you really off guard. So other than that, if you stuck around this long, appreciate you watching, and we will catch you in the next one.